Hello and welcome to Life and DNA with Amanda Renee. Remember to please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Um, so let's get started today. Today I want to talk about the benefits of homeschooling, the many benefits of homeschooling. I'll start by, in case you just joined my podcast, I'll tell you a little bit about how I got started homeschooling. I can't remember how old I was. I was either 19 or 20, possibly 21, when I was at a family gathering, and my cousin Sheila, she's since passed, unfortunately, but my cousin Sheila, she was about 12 years older than me, and she decided to homeschool her children, and she was telling me all about it at this family event one summer, and I had never heard of it before. And the way she described it, I was just in awe of it. Because she went on and on about, that she could just, whatever her kids were interested in, she would be able to kind of focus a lot of time on that and spend more time with her kids. I think a big reason that she did it, she got diagnosed with breast cancer, and I think wanted to spend more time with her kids. But I was fascinated by it from the time that she started telling me about it. And I decided right then and there that that's what I wanted to do when I grew up and had kids of my own. And I even went home and told my mom and my stepdad about it. And at first they were like, oh, that just sounds weird. And then a couple years later, my mom ended up homeschooling my younger brothers. Now she didn't do it. I don't agree with the way that she did it, because she kept them very sheltered, and they are mid and late 20s and still live at home. That's not my goal. My goal is to prepare my kids to go out and, go out and have lives of their own and make a change for the good in the world and do what God's purpose for them is. And so from that age, I knew that I wanted to homeschool my kids someday. And when I met my husband, we talked about it when we were dating, and thankfully he was on board from the beginning. He's always supported me in that and been on board with that, and I'm extremely thankful for that, because I know a lot of people don't have that. And he goes and works hard all day so that I can stay home and homeschool the kids. And we're really appreciative of that, because not everybody gets to do that, and me and the kids like it. If they get out of line, I tell them, I was like, well, you could go to public school. Not that that's really an option. I just like to kind of remind them of how good they have it when they think doing an hour or two of school a day is so hard that you could be sitting in a desk for hours and hours at a time and not have access to snacks when you get hungry, or your toys when school's over, and things like that. So that's kind of how I got started. I was excited to start, so my daughter got taught little things. I bought her little things. Homeschooling does not have to be expensive if you are resourceful. I know of several people on online that they homeschool for nearly nothing. You can go to the Dollar Tree and get a lot of things, especially for really young kids. You can have a lot of resources even from stores like that. Libraries have a lot of things. There's online resources. So homeschooling does not have to be expensive. When I started with my daughter, I didn't know a lot about curriculum, so we tried a few different things, and it seems like for a while every year I switched switched which curriculum I used. And at first I used some of the resources that my mom had used because those were the only ones I knew at the time, and some of those worked okay and some of those didn't. And we used Math UC, math with the letter U, and then I believe that one just has the letter C. And while that's a good curriculum, don't get me wrong, it was not right for my daughter. She liked to know the why behind things, and Math UC is more of a just, here's how you do it, here's a whole page full of problems to do every day. And so it was just a lot of like repetition and drilling, and that didn't work great for her. And that is what led me to find master books. And I am a huge fan of master books. I love them so much. They're very affordable. They have an online a Masterbooks Academy, so some of the classes, and they add more all the time. Some of the classes have courses online to help the kids get it even more and go a little deeper with some of the things. I've thought about getting that when my daughter does algebra next year. They even have some online courses that are not connected with the book courses. Like I think they have a sign language and Spanish, guitar, piano. They have a bunch some PE courses. So that's always nice. And let's see, they're affordable. They're biblically based, and not like I've used some other courses where they say they were biblically based, but it's just like, here's the curriculum and then we throw in a couple of Bible verses. But no, they're like legit Bible based. And they have a lot of good science, like so many science courses that my son has been doubling up on science just so that we can squeeze all the good ones in. And we're fixing to, this year we'll stop doing that and go back to just one, because I think we're kind of caught up. But they just have so many good courses that I don't want to miss any of the information. And but yeah, they're really great. They even have a point system so that you can use your reward points towards future purchases, and that's always helpful. And they have I know they have one big sale in December, and I think they have another, not quite as good as that one, but they have another good sale a different time of the year, I think. And then they have flash sales all through the year. So sometimes you can get whole curriculum. Like this week's flash sale had, unfortunately I already had it, so I didn't get it I didn't get to get in on that sale, but they'll have like a whole curriculum package for less than half, like half or less than what it normally costs, which is awesome. So just a plug for Masterbooks because I love them. But the first benefit that I wanted to talk about was that you get to make your own schedule. I can't tell you how many times that has come in handy. If you have sickness in the family, or a death in the family, or any kind of tragedy that comes up, that's always been nice. I've been able to work around my schedule. One time my sister had knee surgery and her husband was still active duty military, so he was gone, and she had my dad was able to come up and be there for the actual surgery, but then he needed to get back to work. So the kids and I packed up all their school stuff and we loaded up and we went and we stayed with her, and I got to drop off and pick up her kids from public school and take care of her and help her and teach my kids in between and help her with meals and getting the kids' lunches ready and all of that. And, if I didn't homeschool, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And that was nice. Sorry. It was nice to be able to, pick up and help her and not miss out on the kids' schooling in that time. There's been other times where we'll just take a week off. This last week, we were actually off because my son's birthday fell on a weekend, and we were going to have all kinds of family coming down for his party, and I needed, between doctor's appointments, his jiu-jitsu class, staff meetings, and trying to get the house ready for the party, I needed some time. So we took the whole week off, and I added that up. We'll still be done sometime in June, which is about when we finish anyway. We took the whole month of December off. I've started doing that the past couple of years, and that's been really nice because we get to just enjoy. There's a lot going on at Christmas anyway, so it feels like we have a full schedule even without school, but we get to just enjoy the season and enjoy that time. And I usually only take off, depending on what comes up, I try to at least give the kids a month off in between grades. Not too long, because anything more than a month and they seem to forget a lot of the stuff they were learning, and I don't like to put a very big gap in there. So we usually just take a month is the longest that we'll go, but that way they get to feel like there was a break between the past grade and the upcoming grade, which is always fun. And yeah, so it's just nice. We get to just work around whatever it is we need to do. Like today, we had to rush around and get ready in the morning to go and meet my mom and stepdad and brothers, so that they could have a little birthday celebration with my son, because they refuse to come to the big birthday parties, so they want their own thing. So we got to do that and then come home and do school, and then I still had time to record today, and then I'll go make supper. And so that's just nice. Along with that, another benefit is that it doesn't take very long. My daughter is 8th grade. She does everything but math on her own, and so that's nice. So while she's doing her schoolwork, I'm doing schoolwork with my son, who's in 4th grade, and he's getting more and more independent. So soon he'll be able to do that, and I'll just be able to go back and forth and helping with the harder subjects, which is nice. That'll free me up to get more housework done. The other nice thing about that, I will get my son working on a page if he has to write a few sentences or do something, and then I'll go, make my bed, put up my husband and I's laundry, start laundry, dust the house. I can do all of those things in between his subjects, which is nice. The second thing I want to talk about is you get to choose your own curriculum. So based on your priorities, like for me, a big priority is that it's biblically sound. I believe in, creation, that God created the universe and, created the world in 7 days. And so for me, it was very important to have a curriculum that taught that. And Master Books is very much that. They're associated with Answers in Genesis with Ken Ham, who has the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum. And not only do they teach creation, but they teach why we believe that way. And the scientific proof of that. And so for me, that was a priority. For others, they have other priorities, and you get to pick that and teach based off of your beliefs, and also whatever your kids are interested in. That was one of the nice things about Masterbooks having so many science topics and subjects, that if your kids are interested in a specific thing, they can study more about it. The science that my son will be doing next year is a paleontology course with a bunch of books about dinosaurs and things like that. And so that was really interesting. And curriculum aside, if your kids are really interested in something, you have more time by homeschooling to watch videos on that topic, go to museums that talk about that topic, go to the library and get books and learn about that, or take a class on something if it's something hands-on. That's always nice. Now, I have not always, my kids aren't really super into something that they could dive into like that, but when they are, we're able to have the time and resources and do that. The third thing was that you can base the way you teach them on their learning style. This I have had to do and change up many times over the years, because sometimes kids' learning styles change, and I learned that with my daughter when she was little, and her brother came along. She couldn't pay attention when I would read out loud, and she had learned to read. She was a very good reader from the get-go, and he was a distraction. So that was when we decided, well, she'll go do her work herself, because she said she got more out of it if she read it out loud to herself. She could understand it, and then she could read it multiple times if she needed to. So we did that for years. My son was very hands-on when he was really little, and so I would kind of gear his activities towards that. Then you have, what did you have? You have hands-on learners, auditory learners, visual learners, and sometimes they're kind of a combination, where now my daughter, she can listen to me read about something as long as I can stop and explain it, and she does good with that. So that's how we do math. One of the tips, and I know I've mentioned this before, but in case you're new, I'll mention it again. Using a whiteboard and dry erase markers is a game changer, especially for math. It even helps me when I'm trying to explain, because she's in pre-algebra, and I'm trying to explain something and walk her through something. Just something about seeing the bright whiteboard and then the dark marker, and it's in, you can write it bigger than you can on scratch paper. There's just something about that makes it easier to wrap your brain around sometimes. And so if you've never tried using that in your homeschooling, I highly recommend it. I need to get like an easel for ours to sit on the table so I don't keep having to just hold it up, because I don't have a wall big enough to put it permanently up there. But that was a game changer for her with teaching her the math and going over the problems. It's just been really, really nice. Another benefit to homeschooling is that you are in control of their influences. I control, for the most part, who my kids are around and when they're around other kids. When a kid goes to public school or even private school, you don't always know the other kids and the families and what they're exposed to and what they're exposing your kid to. And while I can't control everything, I am involved in the major uh, extracurricular activities that they're involved in. And so I'm present and there and able to, while they still have, the freedom of getting to do things, I am there and able to keep an eye on, most things that they do. Not absolutely everything, but at least I know, for the most part, who they're around. And that is a big, especially in today's world, that is a big benefit. 5, socialization. Ugh. If you mention socialization to any homeschooler, they're going to roll their eyes at you. Especially if they're doing a good job at homeschooling. Trust me, you do not typically, unless there's just there's always the one weird oddball family. Kind of like my mom and my brothers were. But besides that, the majority of homeschoolers, you do not have to worry about them being socialized. I've always hated when anyone brings that up. One, I wish we were at home more. My sisters, who both work away from home and have their kids in public school, have often said that, me and my kids are out doing stuff more than they are. And I have my kids in plenty of things. I did not, I wish we spent more time at home. They are very active in church, as am I. And not only do they, and our church is very, very good at, we are very children centered. We're very focused on our children ministry. And so my daughter she's aged out of kids church, but she helps me with preschool. So she is, more than capable to talk to and guide and even help teach preschoolers. She was, one of the older kids in kids church when she was in it and helped out there. So she's able to talk with kids, just a little younger than her. She helps me in preschool, so she's got responsibilities there. She's in youth and active in her youth group, and so she gets plenty of, to be around kids her own age as well as a little bit older. And she's come with me to everything her entire life, and so she is able to talk to adults of all ages as well, and she's very confident and very comfortable in that. And I believe that comes from how she's grown up and been exposed to all ages her whole life. She is not sitting in a classroom with just kids her own age and one adult for hours and hours at a time. She's exposed to all ages. And same with my son. He started out as, a little kid in kids church. Now he's one of the older ones, and he's got responsibilities, and he helps out there, and he helps me in preschool sometimes. And, he's comfortable talking to adults. He's a little on the shyer side than she is. He's a little more like his dad and I in that respect, but at the same time, he is able to do those things. And I've seen where I will try to talk to kids that I know are public schooled, and they act like they don't know how to talk to you. So for me, that's socialization is a joke as far as bringing it up as something to worry about with homeschoolers, because our kids are exposed to social situations that public school kids are probably never in and never put in. And I make sure that, my kids again, they're active in church, but we also have 4-H. They do public speaking there in 4-H. The kids are, they lead the meetings, and they have a lot of public speaking opportunities. And so, they get all of that. I've made sure that my kids are going to be well-rounded in that area. And, our kids don't play sports, just haven't ever really done that. But there are sports opportunities, and there's all kinds of different clubs and opportunities for kids. We're just busy enough with what we have going on that they're good. The sixth benefit is obviously, and probably should have been number one, but more time and quality with your kids. Quality time with your kids. I am with my kids pretty much 24/7, unless they, have a little event or something, or my husband and I go on a date night. Other than that, I am with my kids. I am their source of information. I'm their person that they go to for advice and for information on things, and I love that. And I take that responsibility to heart and try to make sure that I'm studying myself and trying to be a good example to them. I fall short a lot and I'm not perfect, but I try to, be that for them, because if I'm going to be their main influence, I want to be a good one. And, but I like that I get time. I'm not having to rush around and rush them around in the mornings and barely see them, and see them for a couple of hours in the evening. I'm not having to, hold tight to Saturday because that's the only time I get to see them all day. No, I get them every day. And I'm very thankful for that. I've been there for all the big moments. I'm the one that taught them to read. I'm the one that, introduced them to the different things that they've learned over the years. And I love that. And I wouldn't give that up for anything. Not a big expensive second vehicle or a big huge house. No, I love that I got to have time with my kids and got to be with them every day for all of their life. Like, you can't put a price on that, and I'm so very thankful that I've gotten to do that. The last one that I had was one I've been thinking about a lot lately, and was actually one of the things I was so excited about when I first heard about homeschooling, is that you get to learn along with your kids. I love to learn. I've always been kind of a nerd that way. I love to learn new things. I love to read. I read. I have 2 or 3 books going at any given time, usually. And I just love to learn. So I learn along with them. And the fact that I've been out of school for as long as I have means that, there are so many things that have changed in science and that they've learned and discovered in science since I was in school, that it's fascinating to me. I love learning all of that. Also, I grew up in public school. You never finished a whole book in public school, a curriculum book. You never got to finish that, because between off days and parties and Christmas plays and all the different things, you just never finished a whole book. And I make sure that we do, and I love that. And I love I'm learning things that I never got to learn about in school, or get to go deeper in things that we just touched on in public school. And I am loving that. I love that it also is as I get older, keeping my brain sharpened a little bit. I mean, I don't even remember learning some of the things my daughter is doing in pre-algebra. I'm sure I may have probably done them. I'm sure I would have had to, but I don't remember them. So I'm getting to relearn that along with her, and then in turn teach it to her. It's exciting to me to get to share literature that I grew up loving and pass that on to her. I even got a new appreciation for some books because I hated being told what to read in school. I didn't like that. So I give my daughter choices, and typically if it's a big heavy book, like we just got through reading Tale of Two Cities, and I read that along with her. Well, I didn't enjoy that book in high school, but I really liked it this time, and it was fun to get to read that and talk about it with her. And so I'm looking forward to that with more books and with Shakespeare in a couple of years, because I always enjoyed that. So yeah, I love that I get to study and learn along with them and learn some things they're not learning on the side. Just because, like I said, I like to learn new things, and kind of a nerd, but that's okay. I'll embrace that. But so yeah, that's all I have today. I just wanted to talk about that. If you want to put a comment below and tell me if there's any benefits that you can think of that I left out and forgot, or any questions you have about homeschooling. If you've ever thought about doing it, it's pretty awesome. Not that it's always easy, and not that all our days are just happy and rosy, but it's definitely worth it, especially just for the time you have with your kids. And don't let anyone ever let you believe that just because you have a high school diploma, or you've never been to college, or you don't have a teaching degree, does not mean you can't teach your kids. That is ridiculous. Because if you can read, you can teach your kids. It's as simple as that. You get teacher's guides. We have Google, so you can do it. And there's also, other moms out there as a resource to help you if you need some backup on that. So don't ever let anyone make you feel like you can't teach your own kids. And yeah, that's all I have for today. I will see you next time. Like I said, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And I will be back on here again next week. Bye.